Okay. Is your hand up, Karina, or are you just stretching? Okay. So, in the first unit, we revisited BEDMAS, except we didn't really talk about exponents in the first unit, except a tiny, tiny bit at the end when we did that tiny, tiny bit of Pythagoras. Right? So, we're going to go through it again, but this time we're going to add in exponents. Now, you guys have a real aversion to doing BEDMAS work correctly. The aversion lies in the fact that you refuse to write stuff down. I don't know why that is. I suspect that it is due mostly to the fact that you want to use your calculator for everything, which is wonderful if you know how to do it. So unless you can do the work on paper, then you're probably going to screw it up on your calculator. So what I suggest when you are doing these things is to, you don't need to write this down if you don't want to, rewrite after each step. Use your calculator for each rewriting. Okay? I can't stress this enough. These are easy marks you're giving away. Not to mention, if you can't do BEDMAS when it's this easy, what are you going to do when BEDMAS gets difficult? So, we'll start nice and simple. Evaluate. As soon as you see the word evaluate, you know you're probably going to be going to your calculator. So, let's do that. Now, the problem here is you guys want to go to your machines. And if you punch this in wrong, you're going to get the wrong answer. So, if you rewrite it, you're not going to get the wrong answer. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to do something that we would never do in our work. Okay? Because this is notes. This is practice. We're going to rewrite this in multiplication form. Oops, I put two T's. Multiplication form. So 2 cubed means what?
8.
No. In multiplication form.
Oh, yeah, okay. Is 2
times 2, and then plus 1, yes? What do we do first? Multiplying or adding? Multiplying. Now, 2 cubed is 8. Plus 1, 9. Now, most of you could make that happen on your calculator. I agree, you're not unintelligent people. However, the mistake you make, and it is always the same mistake you make, no matter what we do in math, no matter how many times we try to teach you something, you figure that if you can do it this way, you can stop paying attention because it's always going to be that easy. But it isn't. Okay? When we get to algebra, you're going to see what I mean there as well. So let's look at this one. What is this really? 8 minus 3 times 3. What would you do first? Multiply and then rewrite it. 8 minus 9 to get negative 1. Right? Okay. Now, look at D, or C I mean. What's different?
Brackets.
Brackets, excellent. So I'm going to ask you here, what is the base of this expression? No. That's what I'm asking for, the base. No.
Oh, okay.
What is the base? If you need to look back in your notes yesterday, go ahead. Tell me what a base is.
Oh, the base is 0.
I find myself wondering why this is taking so long. Perhaps I should go to the warm-up we just did, where everybody could tell me what the base is. So we'll go back to our notes and we'll give you another chance. Ashley. Of course it's everything that's in the brackets that are directly to the left of an exponent. So the base here is what? 3 minus 1. But that isn't something we can get an exponent for, is it?
Yes.
Because it is really 2.
Yes.
So that is the base.
So the answer of the question
Is 2 cubed, which is
8.
2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Okay? Now remember, how do you evaluate? Evaluating is always the base. Whatever it is. What do I mean by that? Sometimes math is required to find your base. Like here, right? It is always base, exponent button, then exponent. Now you guys are smart kids. If it's possible that we had to do math to find the base, do you think it's possible that we may have to use math to find an exponent?
Yeah.
I haven't shown you that as an example, but do you think that is possible? It makes sense, doesn't it? If we can apply math to the base, then why can we not apply math to the exponent? So I'm going to write up here, sometimes, yes, Omar?
And C, letter C, the exponent is outside the bracket, right?
Yes.
And the base is inside the bracket.
Yes.
And then like when like the question whatever like question it is, like we have to first like when multiplying, subtracting, always gonna be the exponent when the bracket is gonna be outside the bracket, like multiplying, like if you multiply the other number to the base, right?
Omar, that couldn't have made less sense to me. I'm so sorry. I listened, I paid attention, but I don't know what you mean.
Like, you can do whatever, like, multiplying, dividing, or division.
Why? There's no division?
No, it's not division, it's subtracting.
I don't know what you're asking me, Omar. I'm really sorry. I don't. You said, I'm sorry. Maybe just watch and it will become apparent to you. Okay, so you guys have, now, please remember, are these lines here to have every one of them filled in? Not necessarily. They are to help you think. They are a good example or a good way to measure how many steps you should take to solve these things. That's why they're not on the tests. Because by the time we get to the tests, many of you have figured out your own shortcuts. So I don't give you those steps. Okay? So let's look at this first one. What are we going to do first?
Multiply.
We're going to do the exponent, which is multiplying. What is going to go here? 4 times 4.
Equals 16.
And that is what?
16.
16 plus 3 to get what? 19. Now, please remember, these are all quite easy to do mentally, aren't they? Okay, so go ahead and fill in the next 3. If you want to fill them in mentally, go ahead. I don't care. But remember that in your actual work, there may be fractions, there may be decimals. So you better know what you're actually doing. Okay? Cameron. Oh, yeah, it's over there. Emily or Cassidy or somebody, please give Cameron the booklet. All right. So go ahead, do these 3. You should already be done them almost in the time it took for Cameron to get that booklet. Again, fill in as much as you feel you need to. But again, if you are talking instead of doing this and looking up here for only 2 seconds to copy down the answer, then you're not really taking notes. And then you don't really know what you're doing. And if you think that I have not made a mental list of who is actually doing this and who is only copying down what's written here, then you're quite foolish. Understand? So this is, of course, 5 times 5, which is, of course, 25 minus 4, which is, of course, 21. We redo every step. This is, of course, 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, which is, of course, 9. This, of course, is very, very tricky. What is the answer to D? I'm going to wait a moment and let people have a think. Sure, Omar.
-1.
It is indeed -1. Why?
Because you
Except it's not -1.
Really?
Really?
+1. Okay.
Why is it +1?
Because it's inside the bracket.
Right. What is 5 minus 6?
Equals 1.
This is the base, isn't it?
Yeah.
And 5 minus 6 is what?
1.
No, Omar, 5 minus 6 is not 1.
Oh, you say 5 minus 6.
I did say 5 minus 6 because that's what's written on the piece of paper. What is 5 minus 6? No, it is not.
5 minus 6?
No. -1. So my base is -1, which means that negative is where? Inside the bracket. So it is part of the base. So this becomes -1 times -1, which is, of course, +1. That's why it is tricky. Once again, that is why you must actually pay attention to the entirety of the lesson, not just the points that you feel you need to. Is everybody good with that? What is the lesson here? Bases are whatever is beside the exponent. If brackets are there to group them, then brackets continue to group them. Now let's do some multiplying and dividing, because all we've done there was adding and subtracting. So we turn the page over and now we do some multiplying and dividing. Now, look at this closely and tell me what is weird about how this first example is constructed, the way it is written. Karena.
There's an exponent for a number, then there's an exponent for what seems to be the altogether big bracket.
There's an exponent there and an exponent there. Yuck. So there's two exponents, which means there's two bases. Yes? Excellent. What else is weird about this?
Bracket.
There's all kinds of brackets. Is this a bedmass bracket? Yes or no? Omar says it is. Karena says it isn't. Exactly. There's no math operation in there. So what are those brackets doing there? They're keeping the negative separate from here and making the negative part of what?
2.
The base. These brackets make the base -2. So now I got to look in here and figure this out. Where should I start?
Multiply.
Inside the bracket, right? So what do I have in there? I've got 2 times -2 cubed. What do I do first?
Multiply.
-2 cubed. Why, Emily? Because exponents come before division and multiply, yes? So the first thing I got to do, am I touching this 2? No. 2 times, what is -2 cubed? I can't remember, Mr. Myers. So where do you go?
Calculate.
Great. Of course, you can remember because it's -2 times -2 times -2, which is
Positive 8.
-8. Now, have I rewritten?
Yeah, you
Have I fixed it up? Now where do you go?
more to the
Have I dealt with the Bedmassey brackets yet?
nope.
No, because I still got them. What is 2 times -8?
-16.
-16. And what is happening to that -16?
The bracket.
It is being squared. What's the base?
16. -16.
-16 is the negative part of the base.
Yeah.
So when we square this, it's going to be -16 times -16, isn't it? And 2 negatives make a
A positive.
positive. So this is 256. Okay?
Now we fix that.
Is it possible, really, to do this wrong if you rewrite each step?
No.
No, because your calculator's doing all the work for you, isn't it? If you can punch the button, negative bracket, -2, exponent 3, and get the answer, you're in business, aren't you? Okay, let's look at the next one. What's different? Are there Bedmassey brackets? Yeah, where? Right here, because there's a plus between them, right, Liam? So I have to fix that up, don't I?
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing I got to do. Am I going to touch this side yet?
No.
Heck no. Because it's not first on the list. So I'm going to rewrite. divided by negative 5 to the 1. Now, do I ever write that? Is 1 an exponent we ever write?
No.
Why? Because it's always there. So I can take care of that right now, can't I? I can get rid of that, yeah? Everybody happy?
Yeah, because
So now I got to look at this in here. I had better make sure I'm doing it right. What is 7 squared?
49.
49. Plus, what is 5 to the 0?
1.
1.
Now you.
Now, do I have Bedmassey brackets?
Yeah.
Where?
Negative
49 plus 1. What is that?
50
50.
divided by 5
What kind of 5?
negative 5.
What's that?
50 divided by 5 equals 10.
What kind of 10?
Negative 10.
Okay? Now listen to me. How easy was this to go step by step? Okay, now I want everybody to try and punch that into their calculators.
Altogether.
Not trying to do step by step.
Altogether.
All together,
Okay.
only that. And see if your calculator comes out to negative 10. See if you can punch it in right. Because as you can see, it's real easy when we do it, when we write it out, isn't it?
Yeah, negative 10.
See what I mean? See what I'm saying?
You gotta multiply first exponent.
All right. Now, Tasha, you gave me some of these answers, right? So you know what you're doing, don't you? But if you go to your calculator, it got screwed up, didn't it? Right? Not everyone, Xavier, but some people did. The point I'm trying to make is if you use your calculator step by step and write it out, then it's going to work just fine. But because you guys aren't so hot with your calculators yet, some of you are getting a totally weird answer here. Because you know it's negative 10, don't you? Like it has to be. Bedmass, Miss Bad Crumble taught us that in grade 3. Except without the brackets and the exponents, right? She only did the division and the multiplication, probably. Right? Okay. So, here are 2 ones with the thinking there. Try and fill them in. Try to fill in every blank in the first 2. See if you can do it. Try to get every blank filled. So just do A and B first. So what's going in the first blanks? 3 and 3. Because it's 3 squared, so it's 3 times 3. What's going in the next blank? 9. And the last blank? 45. See? Easy peasy. What's going in the first blank here? 8 and 8, which is 64. And then we do that to get 16. Everybody cool? Alright, now, here are 2 with no blanks. Now, I just proved to you how easy it is to do this step by step and how many people got it wrong when they tried to do this in one step on their calculator, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and try it. I am looking for answers. I will write out everything you need to do in a minute, but right now I just want you guys to tell me what you are getting for answers. When you have an answer for C, give me one of these.
Like a monkey.
This is when I wish principals were walking by. I try. If you're watching the video at home, I had them all rubbing their heads and patting their stomachs.
Is the video going on? I thought it wasn't because it wasn't on mic.
Okay, so who has an answer for me? Sean. Sean has Fitty. Does anyone else have something different? Fitty. Just guys. The point of this is exactly what is happening right now. Did anybody get something other than 50? Karina, what did you get? Okay, again, I'm going to say it slower. Did anybody get something other than 50 and other than now 5? I only want numbers that are neither 50 nor 5 right now. Natasha. Natasha got 22? 23? Omar?
And C, and there are two exponents, right?
Yes.
And like the other exponent is outside the bracket, and inside the bracket. The answer is gonna be like
Okay, Omar. Did you get 50?
yeah.
Okay, that's all I want to know. That's all I want right now. Just an answer.
I get 100 first, and I divide by 2. I get
Okay,
50.
that's right. Okay, now let's look at this. Let's go step by step. Where should we start?
Multiply the from inside the bracket.
Inside the brackets. So, I start in here. That is 3 squared, which is what?
9.
9. Plus 6 to the 0, which is what?
1.
1. Squared divided by 2 to the 1. Now where?
Now you add
9 plus 1 because it's inside brackets.
Yeah.
So that's 10 squared divided by 2 to the 1.
Yeah.
What's 10 squared?
100.
100 divided by 2 to the 1 is 2. 100 divided by 2 is
50. That's the final answer.
Now, Sean, did you use your calculator at all? Exactly. You guys have to break your calculator habit. Okay? Your calculator's a tool. And it's not as smart as you. Because it can only do what you tell it to do. Okay? Alright. Again, for the next one, I only want answers. Who has a number for me? Karina.
I got 164.
164. Does anybody have something different? Well, she wasn't right on this one.
I made a little mistake.
But that's the point, Karina. I'm not trying to put you down. I'm saying that if you get cocky with this, you can screw it up. 164 is absolutely right. So 10 squared. Are we touching it yet? No. Plus 2 times 2 squared. 2 times, what is 2 squared?
2 squares.
4 and all that squared. Now what? Brackets. 10 squared plus 8 squared. Now exponents. 100 plus 64. Now, again, if you've memorized those first few squares, you didn't need your calculator at all here, did you? Not even a little bit. But I would bet that before this lesson, before you thought about it, I would bet a great many of you would have reached for your calculator right away to solve that. Now we go to the only time in real life that this will help you. Winning a lottery. Right? Actually, it's not totally true. I will warn you of something, guys. When bed mass is really important, honestly, Not just winning a lottery. I say that as a joke. Normally I would have gone, ha ha ha, there, but I'm not feeling well. BEDMAS is actually an extremely important piece of math for spreadsheets. If you are in Infotech and you are doing Excel with Mr. Van B, which some of you may very well be doing, if you don't know your BEDMAS, the spreadsheet doesn't work. And the spreadsheet doesn't tell you what's wrong. It just puts a big old error message. Usually exclamation point value, question mark, exclamation point. And then you're like, what the hell? And it's almost always a BEDMAS error. Like you forgot to put in some brackets or something. Okay? So it actually does have a real life application. Not just winning the lottery. I joke that it's about winning the lottery or the free hot dog or the, you know, the small fries at McDonald's. But it actually has a real life application. Now, of course, I'm using a lottery example here. But why not?
Like you say, like.
So here we go. That's what I got to work out. Again, if you reach right for your calculator, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 21 buttons that if you hit them in the wrong, hit 1 out of 21 in the wrong order, are you going to get the right answer? No. Now, how many of you honestly feel so confident with your calculator you can hit 21 buttons in a row correctly? 2 of you. Good. I'm glad. Now, by the end of grade 9, you should be feeling better. But, how many of you feel we could do this completely in our heads? Damn right we can. Let's start. Are we touching 120? No, because there's nothing there. The plus 20 cubed, are we touching that?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
It's an exponent, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's 2 cubed? 2 times 2 times 2.
8.
8. And how many zeros do I need if I'm cubing?
1.
No. 3, right? Because it's 10 times 10 times 10, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right.
So that's 8 with 3 zeros. Divided by 10 cubed. So that's 10 times 10 times 10. What's that? What's 10 times 10? Times 10.
1,000.
Please notice we have not gone to our calculator yet. Plus 12 times 120. We're not going to do that yet because we were only doing exponents. Now what? Are we touching 120 plus? No. 8,000 divided by 1,000. Are we doing that? What is it? 8. Just 8. 8,000 divided by 1,000. If I got 8,000, right? 8 plus 12 times 120. Do I know what 12 times 12 is? 144. And then I need how many zeros? 1. 1440. Now we can just add 128 plus 1440, 1568. Now, I know it took a little bit, but we were able to do all of that without touching our calculator, right? And if we did have to use our calculator every time, what's the maximum of buttons we had to push in a row to get any answers? 3.
Yeah.
Right? How many people feel comfortable that they can hit 3 buttons in a row without screwing it up? Right. So does rewriting help? Yeah, it really does. Right? And do I ever, what's the only thing that I have control over for you guys? The amount of time you get for the questions. Right? I got to ask you the questions. I'm a math teacher.
Yeah.
But I can control how much time you get. So is writing it out ever going to hurt you? No, because I always have more time to give you. Okay? Always. So you guys try the last one and see if you're going to take me on your cruise.
This is a big number.
Because of course, you couldn't win the cruise unless you could do the question. And since I taught you math, it seems only fair that you take me on the cruise.
Can we use the calculator on the side? Or not?
Huh?
Can we use the calculator?
If you need to use a calculator, go ahead. I would recommend there being 3 steps, and then your answer will be the 4th. That's how many steps I would recommend for this. Alicia thinks she has the answer. Am I going on a cruise, Alicia? Don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud. If you think you have the right answer, stand up and cluck like a chicken. I'm just kidding. You don't have to.
I was going to full on do that. I'm double
I just love how you talk to them. You talk to them like my mom used to talk to me. Would anyone like to offer what they did first?
I know.
Omar.
I add the
You added here.
Yeah.
So you had 10, right?
Yeah.
Plus 3 squared times 10 minus 10 squared divided by 4. Now what did you do? No, you had your turn. Who would like to do the second one?
105 weeks?
Yo. Can you wait just 1 second? This is the last thing we're doing as a class, and you're on your own time. Sean, what'd you do next? You went to the exponent, so we're not touching 10, but 3 squared became what? 9 times 10 minus 100 divided by 4, yeah? Now what did you do? Bed mass. You did the multiplying and dividing, right? So we didn't touch the 10 plus. What's 9 times 10? Okay, Tasha. Where?
I thought that I'm confused, like where the middle of the question is. Like,
Well, are you okay to this line? Well, we did the brackets first, 10, right? 6 plus 4 to get 10, yeah? We did brackets. Then we did exponents, bed mass. 3 squared became 9, and 10 squared became 100. So we've done B and D.
I know.
Now we're on to division and multiplication, right? So 10 plus, there's no division there, or multiplying. But here is some multiplying, so we're going to do that. What is 9 times 10?
90.
90. Minus, still not dividing or multiplying, but 100 divided by 4 is $1 divided by 4 is how much? 25. Now, I can do add and subtract. What's 10 plus 90? Minus 25. See, you did it all in your head. Who's taking me on a cruise? Who got 75?
I got 75.
So you're what, water skiing behind the cruise ship? You got a little dinghy?
Doesn't matter.
Duct taped yourself to the side of the boat? What?
I did like at the last question, I did like a fraction. Like you know, like you put the 3 numbers like this, like okay.
There's the work.
I do like this. Look.
Quiz. Okay. Quiz number 1 on powers and bed mass.
Oh my god.
Wait, Mr. Mike, wait, I have to copy that.
When's the quiz didn't say? Oh, you're putting it down, that's why. I was looking on Discord.
Doesn't.
Are you doing the
On
same?
the first 2 sections.
We're gonna do the quiz. What day?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh.
Okay, I got very active.
Okay, guys. Guys. A, C, E, G. Okay, but wait. Okay? I'm going to double highlight the stuff that needs to be done.
Miss Myers, may I please go to the washroom?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, we have to go.
That is the very, very least. What is double highlighted and shows up in green. You are quizzing tomorrow on these 2 things. So you better know what bases are, what exponents are, how to evaluate, and bed mass. Okay?
Mr. Myers.
You have a gribble.
How come it keeps changing every time?
Mr. Meyer, you put the name like you put the name different name because other people were it can be nervous like it's a quiz. Mr. Myers, you have like number 10, number 15. What do you mean like we gotta do we're not gotta do 7, 12, 19? Oh, only 10 and 15.
3 to 5, 10, and 15 you have to do.
That's it, no 7, 12, 19,
Yep.
Wow. Number 5, there are like a lot of brackets.
Yes.
Wow. It's the same we did right now.
I'm like, it's food. That's what I told her.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And tomorrow's gonna be like exponent and multiplying exponent.
It's going to be powers and bed mass, Omar. Exactly what I wrote up there.
Yeah, I say like it's gonna be bed mass and the power multiplying.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I know it's a word. I know it's a word.